Welcome to another video from the Conjuring universe. Relic has returned once again, but this time its target is not just one church. It's an ancient mystery, behind which hides a story never told. In the first movie, Sister Irene had defeated Relic, but she couldn't destroy it completely. Instead, Relic cunningly possessed Frenchie. But what happened afterward? To find out, you must watch today's movie, The Nun 2. Now let's begin today's terrifying story. 1956, Tarascon, France. Inside a small church, prayers are being held. At the command of Father Noiret, a young boy named Jacques brings forward the holy wine. After the prayers end, Jacques is about to place the jar of holy wine back. He accidentally kicks his football, sets the jar down in a hurry, but as he notices the ball has somehow rolled back to him, the jar slips from his hand and shatters on the floor. Jacques, frightened, runs to tell the father that someone is downstairs. Father Noiret goes down to check. He too hears a strange, echoing noise from the basement. The air grows heavy, and silence spreads through the church. The father warns in a stern voice, "Whoever you are, and whatever reason you've come here for, remember, this is the house of God, and He is watching you." A low hissing sound circles them, whispering through the air. Moments later, the father notices incense burning on its own. Through the curling smoke, a dark reflection forms. Relic. The demon's hollow eyes stare straight at him. The father's faith begins to tremble. His rosary slips from his hand. Suddenly, fire erupts all around him. Engulfed by the blaze, Father Noiret is turned into ashes right before Jacques' terrified eyes. Outside, someone walks away from the burning church, and on that person's shadow, the shape of a nun is visible. 4 years later, Sister Irene is now living a peaceful life in a distant monastery. It's been more than 4 years since she faced Relic in Romania. She has devoted herself to God completely and taken her final vows. At the convent, she shares a close friendship with Sister Deborah. Both often discuss life, faith, and their understanding of religion. Deborah had a difficult childhood. When she was just 4, her family home was burned down by white-skinned men because they belonged to a minority community. She grew up among people filled with prejudice. Her elder brother joined the army, and Deborah chose a different path, the monastery. Yet she hasn't taken her vows. Her behavior shows that her faith in God is still uncertain. Irene's life, too, was shaped by loss. She was very close to her mother. After her mother died, her father sent her to the church, and she has lived there ever since. One evening, the nuns sit together in the hall. The Mother Superior begins speaking about the dreadful story of Relic at St. Carta Convent in Romania. She explains that a priest and a nun were sent by the Vatican to that cursed place. The demon Relic was so powerful that it disguised itself among the nuns and drove them to end their own lives. But one brave nun finally defeated it using the holy blood of Christ. For their courage, the Vatican honored the priest by making him a bishop. When Sister Deborah curiously asks what happened to that nun, the Mother Superior replies, "After that incident, no one ever heard from her again. Some say she lost her mind. Others whisper that the bishop ordered her hidden away forever." What they don't know is that the nun and the priest from that story are Sister Irene and Father Burke. Yet Irene keeps this truth to herself for personal reasons. That same night, Irene wakes suddenly and sees a figure of a nun standing before her bed. The nun says softly, "Sister, someone has come to meet you." Following the voice, Irene walks downstairs, but there's no one there. The candlelight flickers. It feels like someone is standing right behind her. When she turns around, she freezes. It's Frenchie. He looks terrified, whispering, "Sister, save me." A deafening scream echoes. Irene jolts awake from her nightmare, her nose bleeding. Fear and confusion fill her mind. The next morning, a bishop from the Vatican arrives to meet her. He tells her that many disturbing incidents have occurred in the past few weeks. His assistant reads from his notes. In a small village called Celeste, Hungary, a 90-year-old nun ended her life. In Graz, Austria, a priest cut his own throat and ended his life during Christmas. In Idio, Italy, A sister in training hanged herself and ended her life. And recently, Father Noiret was burned alive inside the church at Tarascon, France. These events seem to move westward across Europe, all beginning in Romania. Irene shakes her head in disbelief. This can't be happening again, she says. But the bishop insists. The demon was never destroyed. Somehow it survived. He adds sadly that Father Burke died of cholera soon after the last incident. Now the Vatican has ordered a new investigation, and only Irene is qualified because she has faced the entity before. Find what this demon seeks, the bishop says, and end it once and for all. Irene hesitates. She knows that last time, Frenchie risked everything to save her. But a command from the church cannot be ignored. She agrees, gathers her belongings, and prepares for France. Unknown to her, Sister Deborah secretly follows, determined to help. On the way, Irene asks, "You don't even believe in God's miracles. Why are you coming?" Deborah replies, "My mother means more to me than God. She believes, and because of her, I want to believe. But turning wine into the blood of Jesus? That sounds impossible to me." Irene answers calmly, "Faith itself makes the wine holy. Even the most devout nuns of St. Carta, more faithful than me, couldn't survive Valak." Deborah looks straight ahead and says, "You'll need me this time. I'm coming anyway." Frenchie, also known as Maurice, now works as a caretaker at a girls' missionary school in France, under the supervision of Madame Laurent. He has built a close bond with Kate, a kind teacher there, and with her young daughter, Sophie. Everyone in the school adores Frenchie. He is calm, humble, and always smiling. He helps repair old benches, waters the garden, and carries heavy things for everyone. But there are a few naughty children at the school. One afternoon, they fill a jar with cockroaches and release them in Madame Laurent's room just to irritate her. She becomes furious, as she is known for her short temper. Sophie, the gentle and curious girl, often gets scolded too. She's intelligent but playful, and she sometimes joins the troublemakers. That same day, a young girl comes to the school delivering groceries. As she walks into the storeroom, she suddenly hears strange groaning sounds from a nearby room. Curious and scared, she slowly approaches. Peeking through the half-open door, she sees Maurice standing in the dark corner, his face hidden in shadow, talking softly to a painting on the wall. Before she can scream, Maurice suddenly turns, and in that instant, Valak appears behind her. The demon brutally kills her, her scream echoing through the empty hallway. During lunch break, the mischievous girls at school decide to play a dangerous game. They force Sophie to play a game called Defy the Devil. To play, they must go to a forbidden room, a deserted place Madame Laurent strictly told them never to enter. When they open the old door, the air feels colder inside. The room looks completely ruined, broken furniture, cracked walls, and the faint smell of burnt wood. Simon, the leader of the group, grins and says, "The name of this game means to challenge the devil himself." Sophie, trembling, whispers, "There's no devil here." Simon replies mysteriously, "The devil has always been here. If you look closely, you'll see him." They make Sophie stand before a dusty mirror and explain the rules. When sunlight hits the mirror at just the right angle, you'll see the devil's reflection. But if you look away or look behind you, the devil will come, disguised as a goat, and take you. The other girls laugh and run out of the room, leaving Sophie alone. Silence spreads. The light shifts slowly. A thin beam of sun touches the mirror. The goat's reflection appears. His eyes glow red. Sophie's breath quickens. She feels something breathing down her neck. Suddenly, the door slams shut behind her. She turns, and there stands Valak. Her scream echoes through the empty hallways. But just before Valak can reach her, Frenchie bursts in and pulls her out. Sophie clings to him, crying. The girls outside mock her, saying, "We told you. Your boyfriend would come to save you." Frenchie yells at them angrily to stop teasing her. The girls run off. Sophie says nothing about what she saw, but fear now lives in her eyes. After a long journey, Sister Irene and Sister Deborah arrive in France. They begin their investigation at the Tarascon church, where Father Noiret died. A sister there tells them, "This place is no longer a church. People don't come here anymore. They believe this ground is cursed." Irene goes inside to the very spot where Father Noiret was burned. The ashes still float faintly in the air, as if his death wasn't natural. She feels a demonic presence surrounding the altar. Suddenly, a young boy walks up and offers her a rosary. But when Irene looks again, the boy is gone. She realizes it was a vision. Irene and Deborah later visit Father Noiret's room. Deborah sees a strange painting on the wall and asks, "Who is that holy woman?" Irene answers, "She's Saint Lucy, the protector of the blind." Irene explains, Saint Lucy was born in Sicily in the 4th century. She was devoted to God, selfless, brave, and pure. During her time, followers of Christianity were heavily persecuted. Lucy became a symbol of faith and defiance. Her family wanted to marry her to a wealthy Roman man, but she refused, wishing to dedicate her life to God. The authorities punished her brutally. They tried to drag her to a brothel, but no one could move her, as if God himself was protecting her. When that failed, they attempted to burn her alive, but the fire could not touch her. Finally, they gouged out her eyes, and since that day, Saint Lucy became known as the symbol of light, the saint who could see even without eyes. After hearing the legend, Irene asks the sister who was present that day, "Do you remember what happened when Father Noiret died?" The sister replies, "Yes, there was a boy named Jacques who saw it, but there was also someone else there that day. He was a helping hand at the church. He left that same night. He said he loved to travel. He came from Romania. His name was Frenchy." Hearing that name, Irene freezes. Memories from the past flash before her eyes. She remembers his goodbye, how he said he only had enough fare to reach Hungary, and then he'd go to France. He thanked her and gave her a tomato seed as a parting gift. When Deborah asks about him, Irene tells her everything. "His real name is Maurice. He saved my life. But I fear, when he saved me, Valak might have possessed him." She now understands that all these deaths are Valak's doing through Maurice. Meanwhile, Maurice asks Kate one day, "Why is that chapel locked?" Kate replies sadly, "Madame Laurent's son, Cedric, died in that chapel during the bombing. He was a priest's assistant. Since that day, the chapel's been closed forever." From afar, Sophie watches them talking and smiles innocently. Maurice continues caring for the garden. He tends the small plant grown from the tomato seed Irene once gave him. But that day, Sophie notices him suddenly freeze, as if someone whispered his name. For a moment, she sees fear cross his face. Then Kate calls her from upstairs. Sophie turns, but when she looks back, she thinks she sees Valak standing at the end of the hallway. A flock of crows flies out from nowhere. When she blinks, the figure is gone. But deep down, she knows what she saw was real. That night, Irene and Deborah stay in a hotel at Tarascon. When Irene checks the register, there's no booking under her name. The receptionist insists no one reserved that room. Feeling uneasy, Irene goes downstairs. Outside, a group of children play in the street. She spots Jacques among them and calls his name. He seems frightened at first, but she gently calms him. She introduces herself and says, "I've come to investigate Father Noiret's death. Do you still have his rosary?" Jacques nods. "Yes, sister. It belonged to him." Then he runs off. Irene follows, but loses him in a narrow street. She stops in front of a newsstand. Suddenly, every page of every newspaper begins to flip on its own. The wind turns cold. Everything stops. She turns, and Valak grabs her by the throat. Instantly, she sees a vision. A forest on fire. A girl kneeling, screaming. A man wearing a red robe lifts a tool and strikes the girl's eyes. The girl holds a small golden container. Inside it, her eyes. She regains her sight through it. Then everything goes black. Deborah finds Irene lying unconscious on the street and rushes her back to the hotel. That same night, after prayers, Madame Laurent hears a faint sound coming from downstairs at the school. Thinking someone has broken in, she takes a lantern and walks toward the noise. Inside the corridor, the air feels cold. She notices the chapel door slightly open. When she looks closer, she sees Maurice standing there, head bowed, staring at the locked door. She calls gently, "Maurice, Maurice." He doesn't respond. When she stands in front of him and calls again, he suddenly blinks and seems confused, as if he has no memory of what he was doing. Madame Laurent senses something wrong but calmly says, "Go to your room and rest." As he walks away, a whisper brushes past her ear. "Mother!" The voice is her dead son's. She freezes. Then the chapel door creaks open a little more by itself. Though it had been locked for years, she unlocks it completely and steps inside. The scent of ashes fills the room. She walks deeper, toward the altar where the goat symbol is carved into the wall. For a split second, she sees her son Cedric standing there, smiling, playing just as he used to. Tears fill her eyes. Then Cedric lifts his head, and she sees Valic's black hand resting on the boy's shoulder. The next moment, Cedric's face twists and his body lunges at her. Valic, wearing Cedric's form, strikes her again and again until she collapses on the floor. The next morning, Kate enters the chapel and finds Madame Laurent's lifeless body. She screams in shock. The children rush to the scene. Sophie realizes at once who is behind this, because Valic had already made its presence known to her. Later that day, Kate tells Maurice that she hasn't seen Sophie for a long time. Worried, they begin searching. Maurice finds Sophie hiding in the wine cellar. He asks softly, "What's wrong, Sophie?" But she stays silent, trembling. Meanwhile, Irene wakes up in the hotel, her body weak. Deborah asks, "What happened last night?" Irene stares ahead and says, "Something terrible is about to happen. The demon wants something ancient, an old relic. It's using Maurice as a vessel. It needs him alive until it gets what it wants. When its work is done, it will kill him." Deborah listens quietly and then says, "Jacques came by when you were unconscious. He left this." She hands Irene a rosary. Irene recognizes it instantly. It's Father Noiret's rosary. When she examines it closely, she sees a symbol engraved inside. She has seen this mark before. Deborah shows her the photos of all the victims. Every single one of them had the same kind of rosary. Irene whispers, "This must be the clue to the real destination." But she doesn't know its meaning. She says, "I have a friend in the Catholic archives. Maybe he can help." Without delay, they travel to the massive stone building that holds the Catholic archives. Inside, they meet Father Dante, a knowledgeable archivist. Irene shows him the rosary and asks, "Do you recognize this symbol?" Father Dante studies it under a lamp. His eyes widen. "Yes, it's a family crest." Irene leans closer. "Whose family?" He replies in astonishment, "It belongs to Saint Lucy of Syracuse. Everyone who recently died," he explains, "might be descendants of Saint Lucy." Hearing this, Irene's heartbeat quickens. She finally understands what Valic is searching for. Father Dante continues, "When Saint Lucy was martyred by the pagans, her family scattered across Europe. For generations they've protected a sacred relic, Saint Lucy's eyes." Deborah asks, "But why would a demon want her eyes?" Father Dante sighs. "Long ago, Valic was once an angel. God stripped him of his divine light. That's why he wants Saint Lucy's eyes. Through them he could regain angelic power. He has spent centuries killing her bloodline, trying to find that relic." He looks at Irene firmly. "Don't ever let it fall into his hands. The way you used the holy blood of Christ at St. Carta. This time, use St. Lucy's eye and send him back to hell forever." Irene frowns. "But where will I find it?" Father Dante answers, "The last record says it reached a priest named Jean-Paul Rieder. He wrote to the Vatican saying he hid the relic in a monastery called St. Mary's Aix-en-Provence. It's about an hour from here. But that monastery was sold years ago to a winery company. Now it's a girls' boarding school." Irene realizes instantly it's the same school where Maurice works. That night, without wasting time, Irene and Deborah set off for the school. While traveling, Irene recalls Father Dante's last words. Sister Irene, don't back down. To weaken you, the demon will attack what you hold most dear. Be ready. In the carriage, Irene finally opens up about something she had never told anyone. My mother, she was deeply religious. She said God spoke to her, showed her terrible things, just like the visions I see. But my father didn't believe her. He said she was mad. Tears fill her eyes. One day, he called a doctor. They came and took her away. I never saw her again. Deborah listens silently, finally understanding Irene's pain. Back at the school. That evening, Maurice cooks dinner for Kate and Sophie. They laugh and enjoy a peaceful family moment. But soon, Maurice begins to feel dizzy. Kate notices the inverted cross mark glowing faintly on his neck. Behind Sophie, a shadow moves. Valak watching silently. Maurice looks up and sees it too. For the second time, the demon reveals itself to him. Sophie screams. Kate grabs her hand, trying to flee. At that very moment, Irene and Deborah arrive at the school gates. Maurice rushes toward them, shouting, Sister, you're here. That devil is back. Kate, Sophie, she'll help us. Don't worry, let's go. But Irene shouts back, Stay away from them, Maurice. Valak is inside you. When you saved me years ago, it possessed you, and it never left. Maurice shakes his head violently. No, that's not true. But his body begins to twist. His voice deepens. Valak's voice speaks through him. He storms toward the chapel. Irene and Deborah try to stop him but fail. Irene cries out, In the name of God, leave his body. For a moment, Maurice weakens. Then Deborah strikes his head with a heavy object. He falls unconscious. They bind him tightly with thick ropes. Irene turns to Kate and says, He's sick, but not by illness. Tell me, why was he heading that way? Kate answers, That's the path to the chapel. When they enter, Kate asks, What exactly are you looking for? Irene replies, An ancient relic, the one hidden here by Father Jean-Paul Rieder. Sophie points at the goat symbol on the wall and whispers, That goat is the devil here. Irene frowns. What do you mean? Sophie explains, There's an old saying here. People call it a game. When sunlight touches the goat's eyes, they turn red. That's the devil. Irene tells Deborah to shine her torch from outside. When the red light hits the goat's eyes, it points to a spot on the floor. They start digging there. At the same time, Maurice begins to wake up. The ropes tremble. He breaks free, his eyes turning black. Upstairs, Sophie hears a noise near the corridor. The sound of footsteps echoing. Deborah also hears it. She rushes up the stairs and meets Celeste, one of the students, trembling. Suddenly, a goat-like creature leaps from the shadows and roars. Deborah pulls Celeste into a room and locks the door. The creature slams against it again and again. For a moment, silence falls. Then, without warning, invisible force throws the other girls across the room. They scream in terror. Meanwhile, beneath the chapel, Irene's shovel hits something solid. She brushes away the dust, and there lies a small box wrapped in holy cloth. She opens it and finally finds the Eye of St. Lucy. But before she can react, she hears the girls' screams echoing from above. Maurice is already on his way there, possessed completely. As Maurice tries to strike Irene, Sophie grabs the relic and runs. The Eye of St. Lucy glows faintly in her hands. The whole chapel starts trembling, dust raining from the ceiling. Upstairs, Deborah gathers the terrified children into a corner. The goat-like demon prowls outside, snorting and scraping its hooves against the door. To hide, Simon crawls through a small vent into Madame Laurence's room. There, Laurence's ghost is standing. When Simon gasps, the spirit turns, stretches its hands, and drags her toward the dark. Deborah breaks in, pulls the child free, and slams the door. Meanwhile, Sophie climbs the church tower to escape. Moonlight spills through the cracks. Maurice, half human and half demon, climbs after her. As he reaches her, Sophie screams. The relic flares bright as fire. The tower shakes violently. A wooden beam snaps. Sophie catches herself on a plank and dangles high above the floor. Maurice lunges again, but the plank gives way and he falls hard. Sophie scrambles down and hides. Downstairs, Deborah leads the children to safety, then rushes to Irene. Irene takes the relic from her trembling hands just as Maurice staggers toward them again, eyes black, veins pulsing. When she raises the relic, Maurice whispers hoarsely, "I will die, please don't do this." Tears fill Irene's eyes, but she begins the exorcism anyway. The holy verses echo through the chapel. Maurice screams. Blood flows from his eyes and mouth. His body collapses, motionless. Irene thinks he is gone. Sophie bursts into tears. But when Irene kneels beside him, Maurice's eyes snap open. It was all an act. He seizes the relic and rises, possessed completely. The eye of St. Lucy shines in his palm. Darkness gathers behind him. A freezing wind bursts through the broken windows. For the first time, Valak appears fully, towering, wing-like shadows spreading across the chapel walls. It leaves Maurice's body and manifests in its true form. Every candle dies out. The air grows heavy and still. Kate rushes in with the remaining children, barricading the doors. But Valak's power rips the chains apart. It slams Deborah against a pillar, the chain of her rosary twisting around her neck. Irene tries to pray, but her voice falters. The demon laughs, floating higher, feeding on their fear. Two nun-shaped figures rush toward Sophie from both sides. She tries to run. Maurice, still half-bound to Valak, blocks her path. Then it raises Irene into the air, her body engulfed in flames. Valak's grin widens with demonic delight. Irene screams in agony, but suddenly she sees a vision. Her mother's voice whispers, "I will always be with you. Look at me." In that blinding moment, three figures appear before her. St. Lucy, her mother, and the future Lorraine Warren. It is revealed they are all descendants of St. Lucy. Just like the saint, Irene's flames vanish. The fire refuses to harm her. She floats back to the ground, surrounded by a faint holy light. Deborah, freed from the chain, stares in awe. Her faith, once weak, ignites inside her again. She whispers, "It's God's miracle." Valak, furious, storms toward them. Sophie clutches the wine barrel nearby. Valak hurls chains across the room, blocking her path. Maurice, torn between light and darkness, grabs Sophie's arm. For a brief moment, humanity flickers in his eyes. He hesitates. Irene shouts to Deborah, "Believe in God's miracle. Believe that this wine is the blood of Christ. Pray with me." Together they chant the sacred prayer. The barrels of wine around them begin to tremble. Drops of red spill out, swirling in the air like liquid fire. The wine touches Valak's skin, and it burns. Valak screams, its black form twisting violently, turning into light. The chapel shakes as the demon is engulfed in divine fire. Maurice falls to the floor, gasping. Valak's final shriek echoes, then dissolves into silence. The demon is gone. Maurice convulses once more, then lies still. The darkness lifts. At sunrise, Irene helps Maurice to the garden, the same place where he once planted the tomato seeds she gave him. The small plants sway in the light. Sophie runs and hugs Maurice, crying with relief. To her, he is like a father. Kate stands nearby, smiling through tears. Irene watches quietly. However, before leaving, Sister Irene grows a little worried when she looks at him, which shows that Valak is still alive inside Maurice. 21 years later, Father Gordon calls the Warren couple. He tells them he needs their help with a disturbing case. It is then that Ed and Lorraine Warren come face to face with Valak, and the events of The Conjuring truly begin. The goat-like figure shown throughout the movie is not random. It's an ancient occult symbol, the image of Baphomet, representing Satan himself. The director never officially explained it, but symbolically it means, it's not the tiger in the forest that kills you, it's the tiger in your mind. The chapel, closed since the bombing, became a breeding ground for fear. Rumors spread, and people's belief gave power to that dark energy. From that fear, Valak was reborn, feeding on their terror. So, friends, that was The Nun 2, 2023. A chilling continuation of the Conjuring universe. If you have your own theories about the goat-like creature, share them in the comments. The most interesting theory will be pinned. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and set the bell icon to all. Until next time, I'll return with another haunting story from the Conjuring universe. Stay curious and stay afraid. Goodbye. You're watching Ghostly Screen, where dark mysteries and supernatural tales come alive. Don't forget to subscribe before the lights go out.